Hey guys, this is Isaac, bringing you Kingdom Hearts 2, 100% Speedrun Beginner Mode Segment 7, and I'm very enraged because I just recorded this commentary, and for some reason iMovie did not save it, so now I have to re-record this whole commentary. And it's already like a little bit past midnight here. I just want to get to bed. And will have to warn you, I'm pretty exhausted, so I don't really know how this one's going to turn out. But I want to go ahead and upload this segment tonight since I recently got it. Our first stop on the way to Glory is running over to have a little chitty chat with Pete. And, no, his name's not Pete. His name's, Philocteries or something. And he is half man, half bear, half goat, half pig. The greatest threat to our environment. And trainer of heroes, gods, titans, demigods, pretty much anyone who's ever had any skill in any discipline has at one time trained under Phil, which is interesting because Phil doesn't actually do shit. Phil just kind of gives you stuff to break and doesn't even, like, tell you why you're breaking it or why you would need to break it or what lesson you're learning from breaking it. It's kind of like a Karate Kid scenario, except that he never explains it. Like, you're waiting for that aha moment of, this is why I learned how to jump into the air and shatter pots, but that moment never comes, because apparently Hercules gained all of his amazing fighting prowess and chiseled chin and short, relatively womanly skirt simply by doing Phil's cleaning, breaking apart these little pots. I actually set a personal record on the first pot challenge, which is kind of cool. I've gotten 119s before, but never a 120. So I was pretty happy with that, and then this one didn't go quite as well, but, I mean, the Maniac, he's a maniac. Maniac mode is pretty much totally random, so just depending on when the big pot spawns and where it spawns and whatever. And, I mean, it's not like it's a bad time or anything. I mean, I think 58 or so, it's respectable. And I was just getting sick and tired of this segment, so I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. I could probably have done those battles like 2 seconds faster if I had like some of my best times ever on them, but with average times, it's actually a little bit slower than this, so I was going to go ahead and play this one through. Go drive here. I don't go drive the first time I run across because it costs time rather than saving it, because the transfer... Oh, excuse me. Just had a Dr. Pepper and apparently it's coming back up in short bursts of gas. I was talking about something important, but I've forgotten it. So I assumed that I was at least close enough to making my point that you all understand. Pick up the power boost, and then begin my wondrous journey down into the tormented depths of Sora's soul. Now, there are 7 circles of deadly sin that we have to pass through. The first one, of course, being Wrath. And in Wrath here, you can see that H of the Hercules is fighting off the Hydra, which still has 1 head at this point, so I believe that Hydra has a Greek root in it that means many-headed or something of that sort. So technically the name is currently incorrect, and in order to display his wrath at this syntactual misconception, Sora smashes up some, I think they're called like witch ghosts or something. Anyway, whatever these things are called, they drop lucid shards at a 10% drop chance. So, of course, I pick up a lucid shard here. And now I'm passing into the second circle, which is, of course, Lust. And Donald and Goofy give me a little bit of a wider berth here. You know, Sora is, you know, a young guy. He likes exploring. He wants to see everything there is in life. He had a slightly homosexual relationship with Riku. Hey, looky there. 2 items dropped from the same enemy. It's a double item drop. Double item drop, what does it mean? It's so beautiful. Oh man, that guy is the best human being in the world. If you don't know what I'm talking about, shame on you. I think he's in an ad campaign too, so maybe you've seen him on TV. Go pick up another ludicrously out-of-the-way chest, and you recently missed my brief sojourn onto a little ledge overlooking an area that I'd already been to, which is the 3rd circle, which is, I believe, Gluttony. I think I'm getting these out of order, but whatever. And I don't really know why there are just random chests scattered throughout the world in pretty much every RPG. They never really explained that, or the fact that you just, like, run into people's houses and then steal all of their stuff and then run out and no one ever cares. It seems like people would want a little bit more just basic respect for their human rights, but luckily, in the world of Kingdom Hearts, no one actually owns houses, because there are only like 100 people in the entirety of the world, and, I don't know, I guess Castle Oblivion's kind of a house, with all the Oblivion members that aren't dead chilling out there. And here we are versus the Melodious Nocturne. Oh, Demex. Demex. Sora disciplines him as is appropriate, and unfortunately I don't really get an amazing time here. It's not that bad, but I have gotten times that are significantly faster when I've had, like, really good luck. You may see me trying to mix in some fire spells. If you're close enough to Demex and you cast fire immediately after a wild dance, then when the clones spawn out of him, the fire will kill 3 or 4 of them, which can sometimes force a new wave to spawn. So there can be like a wave and a half on the screen at once, which makes it really fast sometimes, but sadly I don't really get that to work out this time. Pretty much for that strategy to work, you have to have wild dances that carry you close to Demex, which I just never really got. But here at the end I do finish it with fire for a cool, game-winning kill cam equivalent. And Demex falls down onto his knees like he's used to, and I go Valor to smash up some more enemies' faces, because I am exceptionally greedy, and I want a 4th item drop. Which of course I get, that's why I keep the segment. I was only planning on getting 3, I really was not expecting that 4th drop, but I was needing to kill these enemies for the Valor experience, because I factor that into my scale, or whatever, my plan. Because you'll notice that the double drop I got earlier was from an enemy that I had no intention of killing. I mean, Donald and Goofy killed that enemy entirely by themselves. Do a ridiculously overwrought way of opening an item chest, which doesn't even involve the giant keyhole in the front. Nope, don't have to unlock it, just tap it with your magic sword. I believe there's an innuendo in there somewhere, but I'm just going to leave that one alone. I'm trying to remember what I talked about last time that was interesting, so I can bring it up again this time. I'm not really sure if there was anything interesting last time. Which, I guess is okay. I mean, you're here for the gameplay anyway. I may as well not be commenting over these, but I'm only semi-lucid at this point, and commentating when I'm like, this is kind of fun. I'm not really sure how this is going to turn out. Oh, here's something interesting to talk about. What's up with little sandwich maker there? Why can't she burst out of those bonds? They are made of smoke. Smoke isn't even a solid. Smoke is a gas. And she's just running around with her little spindly arms held to her side. I mean, admittedly, she's a pretty tiny chick. The only part of her that has any girth is her breasts, and those, of course, are not made of muscle. So, expecting her to burst out of any sort of real bond is, of course, way overly optimistic. But these are made out of a gaseous substance. If she stood still for long enough, it would dissipate into the air, and yet she can't manage to break out of them. I mean, Sora has to come in here, has to fight a big bunch of Heartless, he has to fight this giant fat ass, and all she does is run around going, "Help me! Help me! My limbs are roughly the size of toothpicks!" And it just doesn't accomplish anything. I mean, I don't really know what Hercules sees in her. Because Hercules has spent years honing all of his various exemplary traits, and she's just, kind of like a sex idol, I guess, when it boils down to it. And here's Pete 2. I do pretty poorly at Pete 2, which is, I guess, the negative of this segment. I mean, both the pot battles went well, so let's say that I'm like 3 seconds ahead on those. And then the item drops were really fast. I mean, you know, like I said, 2 of them came from enemies that I had no intention of killing. So, that was, or I guess 1 enemy. Ugh. Yeah, that bat cry hurt me, like, physically. The fact that I bat cried there when I was trying to pinball, it's just ridiculous. And, luckily I don't actually get that many pinballs. And it's difficult to compare this to other, times, because the timer stops when you pinball, and I got 2 pinballs. Each pinball is, like, roughly equivalent to, like, a second and a half or a second and 3/4. 1:28 is not a good time. I'm aware of that. and Valor ran out, which makes it look a lot worse, but it actually isn't that bad because Valor also, I mean, you know, A, it runs out over time, and B, whenever you hit something, it decreases. Hey guys, I'm recording the last, 30 seconds of this again because I was having some audio issues. Seems to be a night filled with technical issues. But anyway, the end of the story is he declared there would be save, it was leet, time was 1:21, and I will see you guys next time.